so we talked about your daughter, but I want to talk about your daughter's friend, who I believe in the book you call Maya.
Yes.
Don't know her name, but Maya in the book. And she comes and asks you, I believe, why do you have an Israeli flag on your bima? Take it to that step.
Yeah, so this is a true story. Not that, well, most of my stories are true, but not. Sometimes I stretch the truth a little. But her name's not Maya, but all of my children's friends seem to have four-letter names with two consonants, two vowels, like Neely, Tali, Nava, whatever it is. And so I named this kid Maya, who grew up in my household, was at my kitchen table at any given moment of time, and not a small amount has been invested in her Jewish education, Jewish day school, Jewish camping, Israel experiences, and otherwise. And one night over family dinner, she says, Rabbi Cosgrove, why do you have an Israeli flag on your pulpit? Judaism is not Zionism. Zionism isn't Judaism. And why do you say the prayer for the state of Israel? Because that's a nationalistic expression. That's not a religious expression. And I wouldn't characterize her as a anti-Zionist, but I would say a non-Zionist, non-nationalist expression of Jewish life and living, and of super strong Jewish identity. But finds herself disillusioned by the policies of the Israeli government. And it's an issue. It's a real issue that we have to talk about openly, and is actually debated hotly right now amongst Jewish leadership about what to do with the non-Zionist next generation, what's called the Gen Zers of the Jewish people. Do we exclude them from the Jewish conversation, or do we have a big tent approach to those young minds and souls?
Some of those who want to go into actually Jewish leadership in the rabbinate themselves. Which
I get asked all the time. I mean, I'm involved at JTS. Do we let non-Zionists, anti-Zionists into the Jewish Theological Seminary or AJU or otherwise? Is that a threshold test for future rabbinic leadership? My take on it is you can't blame someone for when they are born, right? If you are 20, 21 years old, if you're a college student right now, in addition to the distancing that I described with my own daughter, the only prime minister you know is Netanyahu. The only policy you know is an expansionist settlement in the West Bank of a prime minister who either is or is beholden to a right-wing expression of Jewish nationalism. The only paradigm you have is a paradigm of Israel as a Goliath to the Palestinian David. That might not be your reality. That's not my reality, but that's the lived reality of a Gen Z Maya generation. And to tell that young mind that they are not allowed to give expression to their dissent with the Israeli government, when on any given Saturday night, hundreds of thousands of Israelis are expressing their dissent with the Israeli government out of love of country, is simply an argument that I don't believe holds anymore. And so when engaging in conversation, and there's a few nuances here. Some people say, you might not have this, one of the left-wing organizations, but you allow the individual conversation. People nuance it in different ways. I think the most important thing to do is to listen. And because I found as a parent, and maybe this was my case when I was growing up in my own household, if you tell a child, a developing mind, that a belief of theirs is treif, if you zap them, then you are going to get the opposite effect as you want. At least that's my experience with 4 college-age kids. And so as opposed to saying you can't say that, I recommend asking a probing question. 47% of Israelis, of Jews, live in the land of Israel. They are surrounded by a ring of fire. The Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, who have said that they would repeat October 7th again and again and again if given the opportunity to do so. Right, what did Golda Meir say? That if the Arabs put down their arms tomorrow, there would be peace tomorrow, but if the Jews put down their arms today, there would be no Israel tomorrow. And then pause and stop talking. Insist that that young, developing mind gives expression to their answer to that conundrum of Jewish safety and security in light of their liberalism and progressive views. Now, let me tell you what I don't think is going to happen. I don't think that young person is going to say, you know what, I'm really glad we had this argument. You're right. I'm wrong. Awesome. That doesn't happen with my kids. Just doesn't happen.
Must be a West Coast thing.
Yeah. But what might happen is that young person might go back to their college campus and might think twice about sitting in an encampment with a placard next to them that says "From the river to the sea." They might be more intentional about how they're going to deploy their Jewish selves to give expression to their liberal values and their concerns for the Jewish people. And so I look long on the Jewish future. I'm a big tent person, both tactically and by nature.